Hello, my name is Jonell Logan, and welcome to Visually Present, the Importance of Women of Color in the Arts. This topic was really important to me. I am an art collector, I'm an arts educator, and museum advocate. And the role that museums play in culture is critical. They're the spaces that define history, they tell stories, they document culture, and they are the spaces of education where people go to learn. This summer, the Mellon Foundation put out a report that indicated that 60% of museum staffs are women, which is great. And they also explored and shared that women tend to occupy education, curatorial, and conservatory roles, which leads to leadership in institutions. Of that 60%, however, only 4% of that population are African American. Now, why is that a problem? One, that means that very few women of color have the opportunity to lead these institutions. It also means that artists or producers have a limited opportunity to be exposed or shown in these spaces. And showing is critical because it tells stories, it shows who we are, it supports a whole population of creative people. So, making sure that our stories are present is key. I asked a few women that I know who are in the field why they felt it was important for women of color to be in the arts. Artist Michaela Pilar Brown will share her perspective. PhD candidate and curator Porchia Moore will share hers. And the founding director of the Museum of Impact, Monica Montgomery, will talk to us as well. This is what they have to say.
It's important to have a representative sample of humanity in these places that we use to define humanity. It's important that stories about Black women be represented in the largest spaces where the most eyes and most ears can come and hear their stories. It's important that we get to those spaces, and the only way to get to those spaces is by having some level of success. It's important for our liberation that we be able to explore all of the possibilities of human interaction, of human life, of human work. It's an act of revolution to succeed as a Black woman artist.
Chimamanda Adichie says that there's danger in telling a single story, and I very firmly believe that, and that's why for me it is important to have African American museum professionals. We help break down and dismantle the master narrative. We help provide our own unique perspective or lens in what it truly means to be African American, what it means to speak about Blackness and the lived experience of Blackness, and be able to tell not just one story that represents the quote-unquote Black community, but to tell many stories through many perspectives. It is also important to be an African American museum professional because our very presence alone sends the message that we are an inclusive institution. We are an institution that really cares and believes and supports the various communities that we are hoping to serve. And so for me, being an African American who gets to work in the museum, to get to present our stories in very unique and special ways is why I do what I do.
Hi, I'm Monica Montgomery, and diversity and inclusion is more than just a word to me. I am the executive director of the Lewis Latimer Historic House and the co-founder and strategic director of Museum Hue, which is a collective for people of color in arts, culture, and museums. So the work of getting women of color in the museum field is very personal to me. I'm one of a handful of directors of historic houses that are Black, women, millennials, and in 2015, that's kind of unacceptable. I'm really passionate about replicating the successes I've had and getting other colleagues, peers, and friends into the museum world and into leadership tracks. I work with people doing career enrichment, job readiness training, resume reviews, cover letter critiques, and really just resourcing the change that needs to happen.